Hello, my friend.
Hello, Mr. Riskie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to get into we're just going to get right into it.
Let's do it.
I normally have with the podcast, it's mainly producers, but lately I feel that DJs need more representation on a lot of these music podcasts, because I think the level of DJing is starting to slowly go down just as everyone kind of focuses on producing.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought having you on would be an interesting take, especially since you've been DJing for such a long time. But I guess give people a little bit of background about yourself, like how long you've been DJing, and in the...
Oh, wow. Okay, so a little bit of background. That's good. So
Yeah. Actually, go from the very start.
Okay.
Like when you first started DJing, because it's gonna be way different than anybody nowadays,
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's vinyl.
It's hard for me to tell my DJ story without telling my rave story. I think that's an important component because my first party was something called Juju Beats in 1999.
99. Damn. I was 5 years old.
You were 5. I was a server at a restaurant, and everyone was kind of going out. I was 20 years old, and a friend had told me about this thing called house music, which is something that was kind of growing as I was in high school. I think I saw my first rave flyer in probably 93.
And this was in Long Beach?
This was not in Long Beach. So I grew up in the South Bay.
Okay.
For some people that might be different places, but for me that's South Torrance. But what I saw was, I was really into, if you think about the early 90s, I mean, hip hop was ruling everything. There was a ton of everyone was trying to be tough. And for me, I was really interested in graffiti art. And so the rave flyers back then were very media driven, very design driven and eye catching. And so this rave flyer came through. It was called Grape Ape 2. And so that was the first time I remember seeing something that said house music on it. I was a huge connoisseur of music, but I was really making mainly hip hop mixtapes back then. But I kept my mind on it. I was a big fan of MTV, saw a ton of electronics slowly emerging into the States through MTV. You can't forget Robin S. or EMF or ultramagnetic MCs, just little house tunes that are kind of get sprinkled into the top 40 airways across the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, 99 comes around. I'm serving with some friends, and they said, hey, let's go do this thing. I was like, sure, why not? I had no idea what I was agreeing to.
Yeah.
They gave me a Pete Tong CD.
Let's go.
That had Music Sounds Better With You on it. It was
Sick.
an essential mix. And so I threw that in, and I started listening to that. Had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
It sounded like something I'd heard before, but it was good. And then we went to the party. And let me tell you, after that, it changed my life. It changed my life.
Yeah, I think that happens with everyone. They listen to it, but until you enjoy house music with a huge sound system, it just changes. A lot of music I feel doesn't translate. Even just DJing, I'll listen to songs in my car, and you'll go and play them out, and they just don't translate the same,
100%. Yeah, the sound system makes all the difference. Yeah, you could. The sound system makes all the difference. That bass vibration and the energy from the crowd is just undefeated. Yeah.
And did they have... I know they had sound systems back then, but were they as crazy as they are now? The sound quality, was it similar?
It's hard to say because the DJs back then were running off of vinyl.
I guess that's true.
And it's
that's
in
true.
the elements, The line arrays changed everything, Ian. So once line arrays started to come out, I want to say, I don't know sound systems that well, but I'm gonna say probably like 2010-ish or something.
Line array is a sound system?
Line array sound systems. So the sound design, I think, took a step forward once big festivals started installing line arrays. What I'm talking about are those speaker systems hanging from
Like the stacks?
the stacks that are like kind of in a line.
Yeah, they're like
and they're
this.
pointed out, It used to be just huge sound systems, just stacked one on top of each other, tons of subwoofers. Function 1 was a big deal before line arrays. I don't think it was as dialed in as it is nowadays.
Yeah, like scientific.
Yeah, but they were certainly ground shaking types of sound systems.
Yeah.
You see these crazy pictures of guys with like turntables on loaves of bread or squashed toilet paper and stuff.
Yeah,
like that was certainly the vibe,
That's sick.
But yeah, 99 Juju Beats was just an insane party. Like,
Pull the mic up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
If you look at the flyer on there, Doc Martin famously closed that party, but it was Derek Carter that caught me. Derek Carter is just a famous Chicago house DJ that, I've seen rock probably 100 parties, but that particular party was interesting because it just introduced me to something that was mind-blowing. So shortly after that, that's like 99, August 99, I turned 21 in September. And
wait, when's your birthday?
September 25.
Okay, I'm September 7th.
Oh yeah? You're a good dude, Ian.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Virgos.
Yeah, we understand each other. So within a year of that moment, I had this blue S10 truck.
I know that. Yeah, I know the S10s.
Yeah. The blue S10. It was an 85, I think, an 85 S10. It had a radio that only had 2 volumes off or max volume. The ignition didn't work. You had to like break it open. Like the heater didn't work, so I had to drive with gloves. Anyway, I sold that to get my first set of Techniques and a Stanton 3-channel mixer. And
3? Oh yeah.
It was a 3-channel mixer with like kill switches. And for a couple weeks there, begged my friends to drive me to, back then, Wax Records out on Melrose, so I could bug the DJs to let me buy the records that they were hiding behind the counter.
Yeah, I was going to say records weren't really... I mean, I guess they were accessible, but there wasn't just like house music record shops everywhere. It was just kind of records, There were. Simply Jeff had a record shop in Huntington Beach. There's still Free Clouds. Yeah.
And then Doc Martin had Wax Records out in Melrose. Those are really the 3 places that I would go to find records. Locally, and at that time I had moved to Long Beach, so Fingerprints really didn't have a new music selection. They weren't selling house singles. But they were selling mix CD compilations. So, I have like a pack of CDs that are just legendary to me, that I've picked up at Fingerprints here in Long Beach. And that's, funny enough, also where we'd go to get our tickets to the big parties, every weekend. But yeah, Wax was really holding it down. Like Doc Martin back then was connected to so many great DJs, and his crew, Juan Nunez, also Marcus Wyatt was doing big things with Deep. Mm-hmm. I mean, the music scene was thriving during that time, and it was probably one of the best moments. And what's interesting is, like, I look back at it with like rose tinted glasses, right?
That's it always is like that.
Yeah. But honestly, I can't find anything wrong with it. It was so pure, so fun.
Yeah.
It was just a perfect time.
Yeah, and I'm just so curious about that era because it's just so different than it is now. Like, even just hearing about like records that were coming out, like you kind of had to just like find them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like they post it on Spotify, and then it goes to millions of people. Like the DJs were kind of like the ones that were bringing music to people, you know? Like they're just digging in record shops, finding these weird off the wall. Like you'll even still find stuff on vinyl that isn't on digital anywhere. It's like vinyl only, which is crazy. But so you got decks, right?
Yeah.
How long between then and when you first like played out in front of like a crowd?
Oh, wow. I think it's hard for me to say like how long it was. You know, I had some friends that gave me opportunities.
Yeah.
I think I would say the first big party that I was invited to play out was a friend named Brad just gave me an opening slot at a warehouse. And it kind of started like midday and went through the night. I opened.
Yeah.
And I just remember showing it must have been maybe 2 years into that journey. And there's just so much learning that needed to happen. I mean,
yeah,
like
especially with vinyl.
Yeah. So like I got hooked on the music, and then I found myself falling in love with the process of DJing.
Yeah.
I'm a collector, you know, like ever since I was a little kid, like I've collected things. I just don't know why. I just collect stuff, and I was a gearhead. And so this kind of merged those two things for me, you know, and like it became like this weird addiction for me to like have all the best records, have all the best equipment. And I think that when I reflect back, yeah, it was probably like two years, a year and a half or 2 years. I rocked up to the party, had my little bag. Let's see. And I just, the guy had a rain mixer, this double stack rain rotary mixer. And I'd never seen anything like that in my whole entire life.
You were scared.
I was so scared. And like when you're playing vinyl and it's the first time you're playing vinyl and you're still not so sure about it, like it was just so daunting to me. I thought that everyone liked the set, you know. I know I train wrecked a 1,000 times.
Yeah, everyone just lies to your face.
Yeah, like, oh, great records. But it was just so hard to like, because there was no place for you to find the very best sounds. It's almost like if you weren't there when the records were put into the bin, you missed out on the hottest record of the month or of the week, right? Yeah. Or if you didn't know the owner of the store or the guy who's curating, they weren't dropping that new release into your little crate that's hidden behind the store, right? So like you really had to dig, you had to go frequently. Or in my case, I leaned on local record labels that were releasing, and they were, you know, there was just quantity out and they were at different places. So like big up to Season Records, you know, from Costa Mesa, I think, the Seasons recordings. Mm-hmm. Some great releases during that time period that really helped DJs like me to just fall in love with the West Coast house scene.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just find it so fascinating because I just know if I was like in that era, I would just be like obsessed with like finding records.
Obsessed.
I just finding music that nobody has heard, like I just love that feeling of playing tracks that like no one else is playing.
Yeah.
So I guess fast forward, why are you still DJing?
Oh, like, wow. Yeah.
Through the vinyl to digital age, it still has that same spark as it did.
Oh, absolutely. Because like, you know, it's like a cliche that house is a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, house is a feeling. But for me, like the story, like that's true to me. You know, growing up the way I had to grow up, it was hard, and I'm still kind of cynical, Ian. I try to be optimistic, but I'm naturally a cynical, kind of grumpy person, you know?
Yeah.
And then after that moment at Juju Beats 99 with my friends who are still my very, very best friends, I learned how to love. I learned that I could be a kind person, And so house music is like linked to me.
Yeah.
It's funny, you know, I got married and I sold my records, and I sold my turntables and my mixer and my effects unit and everything, you know, one big bundle because we needed the money, right?
Yeah. What year was this?
That was 2007. I sold my record collection.
And
Rest
how
in
many
peace.
how many records was in this collection?
It was 6 crates of records. And then like that kit, the coffin,
Yeah.
and all, you know, all the things. So 6 crates, probably, gosh, maybe probably close to 500 records at that point in time. I'd been collecting from 2000 all the way to 2005, I would say.
Crazy.
So I had some crazy records in that collection. I had finally started to get like trusted by people who, you know, they would give me cool records.
Yeah.
There's a funny story. You know, on Wednesdays, we used to go clubbing Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays
And this was here?
in California, Southern California.
And they had, like, I guess, underground parties, like, kind of how they have them now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wednesdays was at Release at Peanuts. It's, you know, and it was just strictly house music run by Juan Nunez was the resident DJ. He happened to also be connected to Doc, who had Wax Records.
Yeah.
And so that was like, we were there every Wednesday. You know, rain or shine, we were there every Wednesday. That's where I learned club etiquette. That's where I learned what, you know, how good DJs do it. That's how I learned why the dancer is the most important person in the building. That's where I learned how to take care of my friends, you know. That was Wednesdays. and then Thursdays was super fun. You start going to these things they want, and we connected with a lot of the dancers, so like they would get on the guest list and whatnot. So we started going to a party, I want to say probably like 2003 2004.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to remember.
Yeah.
Called Honey, and that was a rockin' place. DJ Irene used to have a residency in the same place. I think it's that Arena. It's called Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing sound system. That sound system is actually still in use in the undergrounds in LA, which is pretty dope.
That's tight.
That sound system is still in use. And that was, and then Friday was Bordner's, and then Saturday was the big rave of the week, you know. So it was either a B3 party, a Channel 36 party, Insomniac party, and we would just kind of cycle through that.
Insomniac. I can't picture them like before, like nowadays era.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing parties?
I want to say since 93.
God, it's been a long time.
Yeah, there's some OGs out there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. And their parties were really fun.
Did you see just Pasquale just mingling around?
You know what? The thing is like there were no superstars back then.
Yeah, but wasn't he the one running these parties?
He was the one, but you didn't have social media that said this is the guy who's on top of
who's running everything. I guess that's true.
You would just have to kind of run into them and get to know them through, you know, the frequency.
I guess
of going
that's
there.
true. I just didn't.
It's like a whole nother
thing. That's so
thing.
crazy.
Yeah. You just had to get to know people, and you know, it's funny. It's like I have a friend. His name's Nino, right?
Yeah.
I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. Okay. So when he and I reconnected in like 2018, I would say.
Yeah.
I brought him over to my house and I introduced him to my wife. This is my best friend, Nino. And she's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Nino, Rick, what does he do?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, you don't know what your best friend does? No. What's his last name? I don't know. You know, like he's just an awesome guy,
dude.
Because they're a club friend.
Yeah.
And I would trust that guy with my life. You know, obviously now we know each other well, but it was just basically if Nino was in front of the line, I'd go with him.
Yeah.
If I was in front of the line, he'd go with him. You know, if I needed something, I'd go to him. He needed something. You know, it was just like that. We'd share flyers and we'd go to the same places, and I could trust the guy. It was great.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
It's funny how that's like a shared experience with just like not only just club goers, but just DJs in general. Like
Some things never change.
a lot of my friends that are DJs, like I don't really know I don't really know that much about them.
Right.
You kind of just the last thing you're talking about is like work,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's because you're in like a loud nightclub, so you can't really have these like
Yeah. But you share moments.
Yeah.
You share moments.
Yeah, that's
Special
very
moments.
true.
Yeah. And those moments are unforgettable. The moment you heard that song for the first time, unforgettable.
Do you think that I feel like this needs to make like a comeback, but there's no resident DJs anymore.
Yeah.
Like all the bookings are kind of, I think it's just changed because of the landscape of just social media has changed the way like these bookings happen. But I just feel like there's still a place for like the smaller nightclubs. You could just go on a Friday or Saturday, and even if there's not some big DJ like playing that weekend, like it's going to be sick because you have these residents that are just like really good DJs. I feel like we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I think as club culture moved away from like proper clubs to restaurants and bars, you don't have a chance to really develop a night anymore.
Yeah.
An identity, and your identity can change. What you play here is going to be different than what you play there.
Yeah.
But there should be some level of familiarity with like what you're going to hear.
Yeah.
And curation. And that's something that you're absolutely right. It's lost. But you know what? Like guys got to hustle these days. And chances, like opportunities to spin are few and far between because the next guys are ready to come up, So
yeah, that's true.
But when you have a moment, when you have like a club or a place that's taking a risk and willing to do house music on a more frequent basis, it's super important for the dancers and for the DJs to show up and support that place,
Yeah.
But also the club's got to take care of the people that come, and so it's this interesting relationship that needs to happen. But yeah, you're right. Residencies have gone out the door.
Yeah, and just clubs in general. Like,
Yeah,
there's just not really. I I always talk about New York. I've never been to New York, so I can't really like say how it actually is.
Yeah.
But I feel that New York still has like those small like little wine clubs you could go to, and they play like vinyl only.
Mm-hmm.
They still have those small house clubs.
Yep.
That still have like a culture around it. And like LA doesn't really have that. Like they only have a few bigger nightclubs, but it's all just underground parties now. And like collectives kind of just like bouncing around.
Yeah.
Kind of doing their own thing. I guess that's maybe how the what would you call it? Like residents kind of are now.
Yeah.
It's like they have their own little collectives.
Yeah.
Where they do parties. So I guess it's kind of changed a little bit in that way.
Like, yeah, I mean, if when I'm speaking about our little city called Long Beach, right?
Yeah.
LA is like a whole different beast.
Yeah, it's its own.
It's its own like world over there.
Yeah, and you couldn't even like. I only know from what I know about going out there, but there's so many little like pockets of stuff you can do.
Yeah, there's amazing DJs in LA that are really doing great things for the scene, in my opinion, and also willing to just kind of come out and do parties. Really to spread the knowledge of like what a solid vinyl DJ is.
Yeah.
I'm not a frequent goer to the undergrounds in LA, but I've met enough of them, gone to enough of them to know like they've got a great scene out there.
Yeah. Sure.
You just got to take care of the parties,
Yeah, and I like that it's kind of come back around. I didn't even really know until I started going to more parties out there. But there's a lot more DJs getting booked for just being DJs. You know, it's not like some guy that has a song that's popping off, or there's some big like artist.
Yeah.
Like these guys get booked, like Certified Groovers has DJs that come and they're, I think it depends on the DJ, but a lot of them are just known for how good they are as a DJ.
Yep.
And like the people that go to those parties, I love that it just like sells out, and it's like just because he's a good DJ.
Right. Yeah. 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 I could just rattle off a whole bunch that I've seen, you know, like over the past couple months here. And you're absolutely right. Like these guys are like true curators, you know, guys that really that hustle, like DJing and clubbing. You know, people become DJs because they want to become superstars sometimes. Yeah. But they don't realize how much work goes into it. And like the sound systems, like, you know. Yeah. You know,
I know very all too well.
All too well. Like building a night and bringing all the gear, packing it out, getting people booked. You know, all of that, it's just so much work, and you have to pour in so much love into the scene. And if it's not authentic, it's super obvious, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's good that it's that way though, because it kind of weeds people out. You know,
absolutely,
very quickly. Because if you kind of go in with the mindset of trying to like make money off of it, I think the house gods just come after you.
Yeah.
You know,
and the scene changes, and you just get swept away, like you're forgotten.
Yeah. Because I always see like these DJ, like a lot of people DJ, but I just know not that I've been doing it for that long, but I feel like I'm gonna be doing this for a long time. Like you can kind of see the ones that aren't gonna be around for that long. Yeah. Like they kind of spark up and then they start to like lose traction, and then you don't really see them anymore. Yeah. And you just have to, it's such a mental game, the music world. Mm-hmm. Especially now that you have to like add social media on top of that. Like now, before you could just kind of DJ, like being the superstar producer DJ was never a thing. Yeah. You know, like there was guys that were big back then, but they weren't like at the level they are now. Right. And what was I going to say? Yeah, it's just, you get people coming in that are just like kind of chasing that. It's not really sustainable.
You know, I teach DJing with a group called DMI, and I'm grateful to be able to do that. And the very first class, if you're looking to learn how to DJ, right, you show up to this thing. The very first class is basically, if you're trying to be a superstar, you need to go home.
Yeah, I was actually going to get into this. I wanted to ask you about all this. So how, that's funny. How did this come about?
What
DMI?
DMI? Yeah. You know, to be honest,
this is your thing.
Not my thing. Or
it's like you kind of joined in forces.
You know, like it's hard for me to claim it, right? Because the founders, I mean, I know Brian has put in a lot of work on this, and there's likely others, but he's been doing it for many years. I don't know how long, Brian Chang, but essentially he teaches people how to DJ. And so I've been spinning here locally in Long Beach. Footwork Records opened up, and that gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of aspiring vinyl DJs and really established vinyl DJs. And guys are showing up, and I'd be like, hey, like, how long you been spinning? And they'll say, a year. I'm like, wait a second. It took
math isn't mathing right now.
Yeah, like it took me 3 years to learn how to beat match a track like this, you know? Yeah. Like how, like where in the world are you learning to DJ so quickly vinyl in 2025? Yeah. And they kept saying DMI. So I was like, I got to go figure out what this is.
Yeah.
because it's a complete like flip over my experience as a beginner DJ.
Like there was no DMI in the 90s
No,
to teach you how to play.
they wouldn't even talk to you.
Yeah,
You
it was a
know?
little more gatekeeping back then.
A little. You kidding me? It was so much gatekeeping.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that though.
Yeah, it was like there's a reason why the new 3000X has a button that hides the track of the title of
Not
the
to
track.
go off what we were just talking about. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that feature?
I think that's bullshit.
Okay, that's what I figured your answer to be.
I think it's lame. But here's the thing. I'm not releasing music, right? I'm not producing music to the level of where, you know, guys are looking over my shoulder to try and peep my track, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to be like this, but I'm not as bad anymore. I don't mind. I think it's so competitive now that I didn't want to like give my tracks away, because I felt in my head, I'm putting in all these hours to find these tracks.
Okay.
And I feel like that's part of being a good DJ, is finding these tracks and like curating your crate essentially.
Yeah.
And then you just have people like coming in like trying to jock your style, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't mind like if it's people that I know, and like people that I know that are not like doing it to like steal music, I guess you could
Right.
say. Like I'll share whatever with my friends, but there's some people that are just like, what's the ID? What's the ID? Like they're just fiending for like every good song. It's like, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've gotten less and less, because that's not really, you're supposed to be sharing music. That's the point of being a DJ. And I saw this clip. Actually, I was there. Atish, do you know Atish?
Atish, yeah.
Yeah, he was playing at the end of the pier in Long Beach, and some girl was like asking him what the song was, and he took her phone and took a picture of the ID and gave it back to her. And
Awesome.
he made like a post like DJing is about sharing music. And ever since I saw that, shout out to Tish,
Yeah.
I feel like it's changed my selfish ways
Yeah.
of hoarding my music.
You know,
But I still like, I have tracks that I know are sick, and I only play them at certain times. I kind of like use them sparingly. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to like post a mix online with all of my best tracks, you know?
Right.
There's still some level you got to keep.
you kind of keep them tucked
Yeah,
away.
you keep them tucked away a
Keep them
little
tucked away.
down your sleeve.
You know, I'm kind of in a similar journey with that. I was talking to a local guy. He's moved away, our friend Colin. And
R.I.P. Colin.
RIP to one of the better DJs. And
He'll be back, though.
I sure
I'll
hope
get
so.
him back.
He's blowing up right now in Hawaii. I know it. Colin and I were talking, and I remember texting him because I wanted to keep spinning, and I wanted to keep like developing my sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him that I was going to start a podcast, right?
Here we are.
And here we are.
That's funny.
And so like I've released 16 episodes.
Oh, this is
The separate one.
okay. Yeah,
You know?
This is the music one.
Yeah, so my music podcast, and I started posting my tracks, and like what's happening, what you're describing is exactly what's happening. Like I'm playing my very best tracks. I'm telling people what those tracks are.
Yeah.
But I think that and I thought about that. Like, why am I posting all these tracks? Because, you know, a few months later, I'm hearing people playing the same music. And that's like, it's kind of threatening to me. It feels a little threatening to me.
Yeah, it does.
But then I realized, like, you know what? It's not only about sharing music, Ian. It's about sharing music well. And like putting it in the mix at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, just...
It's very contextual. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this track at the beginning of a mix is very different than at the end.
Yeah.
This track, you know, following a banger is different than, you know, following something that's a little bit more deep.
Yeah.
And so I just came to terms with that. I don't own that music.
Yeah.
I'm just playing it, and as long as the people that are listening are excited about it, I'm happy to.
Yeah, and think of it from like an artist perspective. Isn't it kind of like disrespectful to the artist when you're like, this song is so sick to you, and then you don't even want to like share it with other people?
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of
well, you know,
like the point of the music is to like get other people to listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
when you
weird.
get to a certain level, though. Now I am not at that level, but when you get to a certain level, the guys they share tracks with each other to test them out on crowds.
Yeah.
And there's a very strict rule, like, hey, like, you're getting this track, but you're not giving it away.
Yeah.
You know.
Unreleased stuff, I could understand that.
Yeah,
like they could get into the wrong hands.
I think that's why that feature exists. It's unreleased, and that's a Loco Dice track that he just produced, and he's not trying to.
Yeah, I guess with big DJs, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
With all the people behind with their phones, they're just gonna turn that off.
If it's my track, though, if I could take a picture of it.
Yeah. Put it on the LED back there.
That's funny. But anyway, let's get back to DMI.
All right,
I
DMI.
want to hear more about this.
This is a funny story. So yeah, like all the guys, they started spinning. Like, big up to Sadell. He moved to Portland, and he was one of the first that was like, he's a sick DJ, great taste. Like, there's a difference between technique and taste.
Yeah.
You know, and he has good taste. And so I pay attention when he and I started talking about music. And he told me, I'm a DMI DJ. I learned how to do this over here. And then other guys I started talking to are like, they've been to this kind of collective where they learn how to DJ on vinyl.
Yeah.
So I went and I hung out with Brian, the founder, and it was my turn to beat match a track. And then I beat matched the track, and then he was like, you're gonna teach. And that's how that went down.
And this is all free.
It's all free. And
this is for everyone that wants to learn how to play vinyl.
Yeah.
This is like a very good thing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Free.
It's on Monday nights in Santa Ana and Dance Music Initiative. And essentially what happens is guys pack up their gear, they haul it over to a local spot, and they set up. And so you're going to have between 4 and 6 different DJ setups. And there's, and those stations represent different skills that DJs need to learn. So the first is history of DJ. Second is like how to drop on the one, and how to cue up a track, like really kind of introductory types of things. The second is phrasing. The third is beat matching. The fourth is more like digital, I would say, like advanced phrasing. I'm not quite sure. And key, like how to mix and key, how to develop a mix, basically. And then in my class, I really like to bring different genres of music to expose guys who have learned all those steps. I like to bring different genres of music and then challenge them to refine their skills. So really what we've been focusing on over the course of this summer was riding the pitch, which is like a skill of moving the pitch fader up and down so that you can just like really lock in on a mix. I'm seeing a lot of vinyl DJs, grabbing the spindle and cranking it, or just using their hands on the record for just way too much, and way too early. And so it was like, listen, you're not going to get by. You're not going to grow your skill if you continue to just like finger the record like that. Invest some time when no one's listening to riding the pitch. So that's something that we've been doing, and guys are getting better, and it's exciting.
Yeah, that's you do this every Monday?
Yes. So every Monday, DMI meets, and you kind of work your way through. I've been going since this summer, and I've taught maybe 6 or 7 classes. And you get all kinds of people in there, man. all kinds of people in there trying to DJ, and it's fascinating. And different genres too, which is good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is it only house?
House is, yes, like house is. I mean, I'm kind of partial to house. I love house, but there are techno DJs there. Yeah, one guy loves melodic dubstep. No one's
On
really
vinyl.
yeah, I don't know how you do that. Let's see. I haven't seen anyone who's looking to spin hip hop. I haven't seen anyone coming through, looking to do that, because there really isn't a scratch or a like a beat juggling type of station. You would probably want to go to the Beat Junkies tutorials for that. But this is more EDM or house music influence. But yeah, there's guys that want to play everything. Like Brian, he's just such a sick breaks DJ. And it's cool to see the old school guys that have that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Holiday is just an incredible progressive DJ. And it's nice because like before that, all I was really doing was I was hanging out with vinyl DJs who knew about, kind of that chunky West Coast style of house.
Yeah.
Or the things I was into, and then also kind of the newer digital stuff, right? But you go and you meet these guys who are really, really skilled DJs who are into different types of music. It just reminds me of like where the scene was and the stuff that made me love the scene.
Yeah, I think people kind of get pigeonholed into like a sound, but I think recently more people are kind of getting, they're like multi-genre artists now. Like even John Summit, like he plays like house, techno, dubstep.
Yeah.
He kind of goes all over the place. Drum and bass. So a lot of these artists now are kind of playing different genres in their sets. But it just makes everything more complicated.
Yeah.
Especially doing mixing, trying to make the mix like cohesive. Because I have so much trouble with just not finding. I guess we can get into this. What's your like strategy for looking for music like digitally?
Oh man. All right, that's a great one. I can punch this out. And I have so many points. Okay, so many points.
All right, sweet.
My main. So this is like top secret stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I tell everyone this.
Yeah.
My main way to curate music is to kind of leave breadcrumbs of where I've been. That's the most basic way I can say it. So if there is a track that I like that has a particular producer or remixer, I follow them. And I add them to a specialized crate, actually a multitude of crates. Okay, so whatever, if the record comes out on a label that is a specific genre that I like, that I'm following, I'll follow that in a crate called Top Labels.
And this is like in Spotify or Record Box?
We're talking about Beatport.
Okay.
All right, so let's say I'm on Beatport, and I don't use Beatport. I use what are those things called? A DPI, I think they're called. API. It's called crates.co.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah, Crates is amazing. It really is like a stripped down version of Beatport, but essentially you authorize it to work with your Beatport account, and it's just simpler. It's easier on the eyes. It's less like graphics, and it's faster. And so and all your crates are listed there. It's right front and center instead of tucked away behind a drop down. So all your crates are there, and I have essentially the basic ones are top labels, top producers, and then it goes into like subgenres. Okay, those are my crates. I also have multiple carts. So I rock up to the computer, I find an artist I like, I add him to my top producers. I probably will add him to he's one of my top minimal tech producers also, right?
Okay.
So that way I could kind of zone in. And then I'll add the label. And if that track is something I like, I'll add it to my main cart. And that main cart gets maybe 50 tracks in there after one Friday. Okay. Off the top of my head, I have probably 400 producers that I follow in that, one of those crates. And I want to say 250 labels that I'm following in a separate crate. And every Friday I go through and I look through every single release from all those labels and all those producers. And then they all go into my cart. So I might end up with like 50 tracks. Then I go back to my main cart, and then I take those tracks and move them into crates. Now these crates are things like they're carts, subgenres that are really specific to me. So I'll have like vibey deep house, funky deep house, funky tech house, progressive minimal, like it's all kinds of crates, right? Yeah. Stuff that I'm interested in. And then once those things start to expand out, if I have 25 tracks sitting in my UKG set, right? Like of all stuff that I'm interested in, I'll jump into there, I'll listen to those again, and then I'll start to think, okay, like I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. And so it kind of goes through all these different filters that I've created so that I know that's a track I want to play. And that way, by the time I've purchased and dropped it into my record box, I really know what I'm spinning that night.
Yeah.
Crates also allows you to have instant access to YouTube if it's been posted to YouTube without ads, and so that's huge. If you go on Discogs and you try and listen to an old vinyl record, you press play, there's going to be a 10-second ad, and that just drives me crazy. So Crates doesn't have that, which is amazing. And so if the artist has uploaded it, you can actually listen to the entire song. Most new tracks they're only going to give you a 2-minute snippet, but it's enough to know like what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And that's how I buy my music.
I need to look into that because I'm just like so unorganized with just finding music. Because what I kind of do, this is my strategy. I kind of just use Beatport. This is another kind of trick, algorithmic trick, I guess you could say, is find a bunch of tracks that you like or you're trying to buy or whatever, and just put them in your cart. And then if you go down to the bottom of the page, it has a bunch of like suggested tracks that are kind of similar to what you have in your cart.
Yeah.
And I kind of just use the algorithms.
Yeah, you chew through those recommended tracks.
Yeah. I do the same thing on SoundCloud. Like I'll find a song and then I'll go through the 50 songs that it recommends, and then I'll find like a few, and then I'll just keep doing that just like endlessly.
Yeah.
And I'll keep going through all of the suggested songs. But
I have a question. When you're in Beatport and let's say you're going through those recommended tracks, does it show you that you've listened to it before?
I don't know. I don't use Beatport like that often.
I see. Because if you do, for those of you guys out there that use Beatport, if you try Crates, it'll tell you if you've listened to it before.
Interesting.
Or if it's a re-release. And because I have no interest in listening to something a second time,
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I don't, all of the music that I try to find, like, I don't even look at new music.
Yeah.
Like, all the music I try to find is stuff that's like from 5-10 years ago.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because there's so much music that gets put out. Like, if you just go back in the years, like even on, I think I've heard Jamie Jones say this. Like, he'll just go on like Tech House 2011, and he'll just scroll the pages.
Yeah.
And I've done that too.
Same. Yeah.
Like, I'll just pick a genre, a year, and then like a BPM or key or whatever, and then I'll just endlessly scroll.
Yeah.
But it's just, that takes so much time because a lot of these songs are horrible.
They're so bad. Yeah.
They're so bad. I didn't realize
they're dated. Yeah.
I didn't realize that you could even upload stuff that bad to Beatport. Like the mixes are just so bad.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing, this is, I've said this before, but if I ever release music, even on like Beatport or what's the other one? Bandcamp.
Yeah, Bandcamp.
My biggest pet peeve. If you're gonna release music, I can't really justify this for like the old music because like the mixing wasn't the same.
Right.
But now, if you're putting music out for people to buy, like make it good enough quality so I could play it out.
You could play it out, yeah.
Like sometimes I'll pay money for these songs and then I like put it in record box. I'm like, God damn it.
It's a horrible file or something.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like you can see like now every single track is just a sausage.
Yeah.
And like you'll just get these tracks that are just like so like not mixed fat enough.
Yeah.
And I won't take the time to, I know some DJs, especially like Ian and Brando, they'll just like have a note on the track that says like turn up mids or turn up lows. And I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather just have a bunch of songs that I don't really have to like check the levels on. Like I just know they're going to sound loud enough.
Right. Yeah.
So that's just a little PSA for you people trying to sell music.
That's that's one of the hardest things about buying music from earlier on is like the pressings. Sometimes you'll get a vinyl pressing like that.
Yeah.
And that it's just like, it sounds good and it's a track you've loved, and then you put it on a system and all of a sudden you don't hear a kick. The kick is just like weak. And so if for someone like me, like it has to have a fat funky bass line if it's going to be played in my set. So like that is so disappointing. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't mean to like come at these producers, but if I'm gonna charge people for music, it's got to be like to a standard.
Yeah, get it mixed right, get it mastered right.
Yeah, because if it sounds like, if the mix and master sounds good, you don't have to like be that good of a producer,
right?
Like if the mix sounds good, it's gonna be like good enough to play out. So yeah, that was my rant. This was another thing I was going to ask you, because I feel like now, even with myself, I kind of had like a plan, I guess, when I got into music.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to start producing seriously and like DJ and like get bigger gigs and kind of like build a like platform for myself.
Yeah.
Did you have like a sort of a plan when you got into DJing, or you just kind of did it because you liked it?
Honestly, I just wanted to play records to make my friends happy.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was, I'm in a club, the DJ put a piece of vinyl down. It made me go crazy.
Yeah.
And I needed to remember what that moment was like.
Yeah.
So like that's really where my passion comes from, and it still exists like that. Like,
yeah.
So it could be, it could be New Year's Eve and it's, hundreds of people out there, or it could be just me and my friends and, 20 people in a dingy club.
Yeah.
And if they're having fun, I'm having fun.
Yeah. I guess now that you say that, I've always like, when I first, this is even before I even like started listening to like electronic music like that much. I just thought it would be so sick to like play music on a huge sound system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, it's so satisfying to just like have, especially now that you crate dig and you find all these songs, like playing songs that are going to like be sick on a huge sound system is just so satisfying.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, even if you're not getting like paid for it, like it's just dope. Like it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And then when I like started first going deep diving into DJing, like I was like, it would be sick to play my own music on a massive sound system.
Absolutely. Yes. That's enough to like do the grind, the Ableton grind, or, like to learn how to produce. That's enough to fuel you through that.
And I know you've been DJing forever, and I think producing has become a lot more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So when you first started DJing, producing wasn't like, you couldn't just buy Ableton and start producing. It was like everything was analog.
Yeah.
It was a lot different. But have you ever messed around with producing tracks at all?
I have. I have Ableton 11.
Nice.
Haven't upgraded, but quite honestly, like I'm so busy in my career.
Yeah.
That my career requires me to be on my toes and be super creative. So
yeah.
And Ableton is that exact same thing, right? And there's a certain amount of passion. I talk about authenticity in how I DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like authenticity in how you produce too. I'm not a producer, so I'm just kind of speaking, but I think that people know like it just would be inauthentic if I produce like an Afro house track. Yeah. Because the sound packs are out there and I just cranked it out, and I know great vocals, and I know that if I put this vocal over, this sound with a little bit of dirty noise, it's going to make a huge hit. Like, that's inauthentic. And I think I've spoken to you about this, is that I love certain types of music, right? Like music that just really moves me, funky, strong, heavy bass lines, right? That's my thing. Mm-hmm. But when I get behind Ableton, I'm playing music that sounds like I'm walking through like a like a quiet meadow, and I'm like it's all ambient noises and stuff because I'm experimenting with sound design.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to rush that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of just let that be what it is,
I think you have to also, I think people get so caught up with trying to like make stuff that's going to like be something like big,
Yeah.
Like when I first started producing, I would just like make something in Ableton, but it would just be some random piano keys, like ambient.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying. And I think sure, you should have like goals with producing if you want to eventually make tracks that you can play out.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think just playing in the little sandbox sometimes and just not having any intention of finishing anything that you're messing with, it's kind of just like you just have a paintbrush and you're just messing around like with finger painting,
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to have some big goal with sitting in front of Ableton, because I know how much effort it takes to get to the point where you could play this out.
Yeah.
On a system.
Yeah. So much effort.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, if you there's a lot of like tools and stuff now, and you can learn quickly, but some people, I think when they start producing, they don't realize like the levels it takes to get to like a professional sounding track that you can play out. But not everyone has to do that. I still think there's value in having like a music software that you can just mess around on and push buttons and
I agree with that. Yeah,
you don't
absolutely
have to have goals.
Yeah,
you can just push keys on a piano and you're like, this is sick.
Finding a melody is just really satisfying.
Yeah,
when you're a beginning producer, I think that I am goal driven. I like to know that the time I dedicate is going to be satisfying back, right? So, and I think there's importance in finishing a mix. Just like, there's DJs watching this right now and they're probably like, yeah, I totally get this. It's like, I'm going to put down an hour mix, and then you
listen to it back. You're like, I hate this.
Well, just even listening back to it, you know what I mean? Like some people don't even get to that. Like for a long time, I would make a mix, and this is what Colin and I were talking about. Is my music podcast.
Yeah,
it's like how I'd get 45 minutes in and get discouraged, and then I just stop.
Yeah,
and I was like, I have to finish. You know, like my goal is I have to, no matter what happens between the second I press record to the final track, I want to finish and I want to just feel good about releasing. And then, so he encouraged me to do that, and I've been doing that, and like that's really fun because it's also made me pay attention to the detail. So when I produce, honestly, I'm like just trying to figure out the menu, man.
Yeah.
But I think I will become goal driven.
I think you don't have to also like do the hour. This is something I've had to force myself to do. Do the hour, and like you said, even if it's bad, just do the hour. You don't have to release that hour, but at least it's a thing that you can like go back to and go through it. And I'm so overcritical of everything that I do. I'll like go through an hour mix and I'll just like pick it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think that is a bad trait and a good trait at the same time, because you have something you can go back to and say like, oh, I didn't like this. This is what I have to fix. But if you just do 45 minutes and you don't save the recording, then you have nothing to go back to fix.
Right.
So I think forcing yourself to finish stuff, even if you don't release it, it's good to have things to look back so you can kind of track your progress.
What are you gonna do when you're booked for an hour and 30 minutes? You know, and you mess up a mix like at 45 minutes. You just gonna quit? Like, no, you got to figure it out, and you got to win them back.
Yeah.
You know, or you mess up a transition and the energy gets sucked out of the room. You got to win them back. You know, like, so what you're talking about is absolutely true. Like, go back. There's, I don't know. It's hard. There's nothing more critical than a dancer at a house party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
even if it's somebody you know, you're like, come on, dude.
If you mess up my vibe, man.
Yeah.
You know, I paid money to be here. I'm buying $15 drinks. Like, don't mess up that transition, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to do right by the dancer. And really, that's what motivates me to push myself like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I see with producing, it's a little bit different because it's so hard to do that it's like I don't like dock myself for being not perfect at it. Like, I understand because these guys have been producing for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard. But with like DJing, I feel like I can be better than what I am. Like, my skills as a DJ now, like, I don't have to put in that much work to get to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm satisfied with this.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like even more critical with like when I'm DJing, because I don't feel like I'm that good of a DJ. But like, I know my tracks are good, but I just feel like my mixing could definitely improve. So I see all these. I want to be one of those DJs that's like a good DJ. Like, you're not coming to see me because my tracks are sick. Like, that's a bonus. But I've seen so many producer DJs that are not good DJs. Not
good DJs, yeah.
Like, dude, this is kind of whack.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it just ruins. It's two completely different things.
Yeah, 100%. But, you know, like, yeah, I don't know when you started partying. When did you start partying, Ian?
Like 20, I mean, like house music partying?
Yeah, going to raves and you know, turning up at festivals and stuff.
2017 maybe?
Okay. And so like EDM had already happened.
Yeah, this was like
huge festivals are going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first festival I ever went to was Escape 2017, I think.
Okay. So
this is all fairly new.
By that point, bottle service had been established. Social media is locked in.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much, you know, people show up, they'll spend $200 to go to Escape because they want to hear Laser Beams.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a 2017 track, or, you know,
Chris
what I mean?
Lake.
Yeah. Or, you know, they want to hear that they'll go see Chris Lake, right? And then they want to hear Poison. They want to hear Operator. They want to hear all those things, right?
Yeah.
And so, but before EDM, it's like the dinosaur ages of vinyl.
Yeah.
The DJs is what you're talking about. The guys, you knew they had sick tracks. You knew they were in the game. You knew they weren't going to screw up a transition.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to play a song that you'd heard 100 times.
Yeah.
And I think there's something super special about that. To be able to control a party and to feel that, like, wow, this guy is totally in control. I've danced my ass off.
Yeah.
And I'm coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's different I think those festivals are a different thing. Those are concert festivals.
Yep.
Because you see Chris Lake play an after party, he's not playing any of his music.
Yeah.
Like,
I've never been to a Chris Lake after party, by the way. That sounds really dope.
I haven't either, but
I would do anything to go to a Chris Lake after party.
I don't think he's playing any of his music.
Yeah.
Maybe some unreleased stuff that you don't know about. But yeah, I think people need to still put time into learning how to DJ properly, because it just makes the whole experience so much better.
Yeah. 100%. That's, I work with, I don't know, I call them my students, but they're not my students. They're like legitimate DJs that I'm hanging out with that are like responding to a challenge. But, when we do a genre study and we work on our transitions, like the energy is so different when you transition at a different spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And like experimenting with that and taking the risk to come in early or acknowledging that violin is actually the same as a vocal and you don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
It's super important. And so that's what you're talking about, is how to be a good DJ.
Yeah. And controlling, I think that's also why you really should record mixes and listen to them back, because right away. Like, I was listening to a mix that I made the other day, and I'm like, I should have transitioned out of this earlier. This drug on too long. Like, you can feel the energy of the whole mix, like where you should mix in and mix out. And I think that's kind of like a lost skill.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah,
especially when you're going off the cuff. Like, you're not really going off the cuff because you know your music so well. But sometimes you kind of get lost in like what you're going to play, and you start to panic because you're like, I don't know what to play. Like, the crowd's not reacting to what I thought they would react to. And then you start scrambling in your head, and then you are mixing tracks that you're not really used to mixing together. And then you kind of like lose your...
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And that's why you get paid the drink tickets.
Yeah, that's why you get paid the drink tickets. That's pretty funny. What time are we at? Hour and 10 minutes.
Awesome.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll stop it there. Let me have you plug yourself. I guess where can plug the podcast?
All right.
DMI, and where people can find you.
Okay, well, you can find me with DMI on Monday nights at Pizza Press. They also have a weekly in Long Beach. Just go ahead and follow Dance Music Initiative and give them a follow. Those are great guys who really are giving back to the scene. You can follow me at Riskie_LA on Instagram. I'm also Riskie LA on SoundCloud, where you can catch up with me and my podcast. It's a weekly genre focused. It's really about songs that move me or songs that I'm really interested in. I think guys like you might want to, pull some tracks from.
I'll steal your tracks.
Steal my tracks. It's called Riskie Nights. I also post any live mixes that I do onto Riskie Nights. No editing. Super fun. You hear my mistakes. But thanks so much to you, Ian, for putting in the work, dragging your sound system around, letting us play on your decks. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.